Hey everybody, Wayne's Workshop here, and today I'm going to show you how to turn a vape pen or e-cig into a mini smoke machine that you can use in your cosplay. So let's get to it. And we're going to need the following items: a vape pen, an air pump, some fog juice, push button, some electrical tape, some wire, some type of hosing, a 9-volt battery connector, and a 9-volt battery. And we're also going to need the following tools: a soldering iron, some solder, and a wire stripper or a wire cutter. Now, the first thing we need to do is we're not going to use the battery of the vape pen itself. We're going to use one battery, this 9-volt battery, to both power the air pump and also the vape pen coil. So the first thing you do is you just screw off the battery. This part of the vape pen you don't need. Just toss it. And you get left with this. Now, it's important to note that you kind of need a vape pen with a hole in it. Some of these vape pens have a sealed center, and you'd have to drill a hole. To get these, I'll put a link in the description. They come in a pack of 2, so you got one spare, or you can use it to get more smoke. They were $10 on AliExpress, so it's only $10. It's fine. Now we're gonna have to solder 2 wires to this thing, which lead to the switch and to the battery, because we won't be using this battery. Normally this center would go on that center, and that would power the vape pen, so we got to substitute that. To do that, you can also just screw off this part. You can put this one away for now, and you'll be left with the coil. And now we're gonna solder a wire to the center and one wire to the outer housing, and that will be the ground, and the center will be the plus. Before we start soldering, one wire needs to go through the air tube we're going to use, because the air tube will also go on the center and the cable would be in the way, so it'll run through the tubing. And what you do is you grab part of your silicone tubing, and let's say this part goes on the vape pen. You just grab a knife and you poke a tiny hole in it, twist it around, and you can see that I made a tiny hole in it. And you grab your wire and there we go. Now once you've done this, and you got to do this first, then you can strip off a small piece using the wire strippers, and then we can solder it. So first we're going to put some solder on that center. Put a little on the tip, and now you can see right there is a piece of solder. Now we're going to do the same thing on the piece of wire and just solder the end of it. And then grab the wire with the solder on it, put it against each other, preferably on the inside. Heat it up. Hold it. And now it's firmly attached. And then it should look like that. Now your plus wire is soldered to the center of the coil, and this will power it. Now we got to do the ground, and why we needed to do the wire inside of the air tube is because now this one will go through it and nothing will be in the way. I'm gonna just push that on it. So it'll look like that. And we'll tape this up later and then it'll be pretty airtight, but we'll get to that in a moment. The negative wire, we're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna take off a small bit, solder the end again, like that. Now your vape pen itself has usually these kind of notches in them, and these allow for airflow if you would actually use it like a vape pen. But for us, we can use it to fill that up with solder. There we go. If you're having problems with making this stick, you can use some sandpaper to scuff it up first. Then we grab the ground wire and we hold it to the inside, not the outside, to the inside, and heat up that solder again. And now it's stuck. Okay, so once it's done, it should look something like this. You've got your silicone tubing going to the center. The red plus wire is soldered to the center, and the black wire is soldered to the outer casing. When this is done, you grab your electrical tape and start taping it up. Something like so. Now we can put this away for now. We can start working on the air pump, which is just solder a plus and a ground wire to these two connectors. It doesn't matter in what way. Okay, so I just ran 2 wires through the tiny holes of the air pump, and we just apply the solder. Now, to protect these exposed bits, you can either use your standard electrical tape or you can use shrinking tube, and I prefer shrinking tube because it's just way easier. You can get it at the hardware store for almost next to nothing. How it works is just pull the tube over it, then grab a lighter or a heat gun, and it'll just shrink over it. So now it's time to grab our button and our 9-volt clip. And what we're going to do is grab the red one, strip it down a little bit, and solder it to one of the connectors. What you do now is you grab the red wire from the air pump and also the red wire from your e-cig, and you strip those two, twist them together, slide over some shrinking tube or add electrical tape later, and then you grab the switch and you solder these two to the other one. And then we grab all the black cables, the black cable from the vape pen, air pump, and of the 9-volt clip, We strip them and solder them together. Now that we're done with soldering, we can put that away and it should look something like this. Right now, you'll have your power source. The power will go through the red wire to the switch. And once you press it, power will flow through both the e-cig and the air pump. It will enable by now hooking these two together. And we'll grab a zip tie and we'll seal that up. Now air will get pumped through the e-cig while that's on, burning the fog juice, and then we got smoke. Now we grab the housing again and twist it back on. Now this is usually where you suck on, and this also twists off, as you can see, and here is where we'll put in the fog juice. And just put it on the side. I'm not going to fill this up too much just for the sake of testing. Grab that bit again and twist it back on. Then make sure the fog juice has been spread around a little bit so that those cotton wires absorb it all and that it's absorbed through the whole cord. You can just twist it around for a little bit. What I also like to do is grab some zip ties, place one here, here, and here, so that it's completely airtight and all the air goes from the air pump out to the e-cig and not escaping through one of the holes. And once that's all done, we grab our 9-volt battery, hook it up to the connector, push a button, and we have smoke, ladies and gentlemen. You can get real creative with this stuff by, for example, adding some red, blue, or green LEDs, placing it in front of it, and there you have fire. And if there's no room in a certain prop or cosplay that you're building, but there is room somewhere else in the cosplay, you can install it there. Grab some more of that silicone tubing, place it on the end there, wire that to where you want your smoke to come out, and it just comes out. You just extend it. And there you have it, guys, a mini smoke machine for your cosplay. You can build this in your prop, in your weapon, in your costume, like in shoulders, like you see in World of Warcraft. You got the shoulders with all the smoke coming out and green LEDs. So get creative with this stuff, guys. The possibilities are endless. If you found this video useful, please like and share it. And if you want to see more of these type of videos where I can show you all nifty tricks, then hit that subscribe button and I'll see you in the next tutorial.